Hello, welcome back to our training on the 4 ways to grow your business. This is Donna Phoebus with Integrity Business Advisors, walking you through the 3rd section. So thank you so much for being here again. And today's is going to be super fun because there's a lot of details that kind of go into it and all the various different ways that you can, sell and, just bring more value to what you can do for your customers and guide them and just support them in whatever need that they have. So let's go ahead and get started. So your customers are coming to you for a purpose. They need help or guidance of some sort. So it's important to let them know about all of the options, including additional products or services that you have available to add on to the original purchase. So, for example, McDonald's uses, you say, yeah, can I get a Big Mac? And they'll say, well, would you like fries with that? Or, another one is, yeah, I'd like a number 1. Would you like to supersize that? Things like that. Perhaps you bought a Kubota tractor and, you bought the tractor because you needed to, plow between your grapevines, your grapevine rows or whatnot. Then you could ask them, well, do you need a rototiller add-on, whatever you call it, implement? That would be a way that you could, upsell or cross-sell. You could call it bundling, actually. Anyway, so you put a lot of time and effort, you put a lot of money into getting the customer, into your business in the first place. So, why not leverage the return on that investment where you can? Because you already paid to get the customer, they're back, and now you want to help them even more. And one of the ways that you can help them is by filling in another hole that they may have. You won't know unless you ask. So it's their choice to say yes or no. You can put it in front of them and that's your job. But if they don't want it, that's great. But at least you offered. So when we're looking at the average sale value, your average transaction value is a simple calculation. And so what you do is you take the total value of sales for a given period and divide by the number of customers who purchased those things. So for example, let's say last week your business brought in $4,286. Let's check your sales records to show that 62 customers actually purchased those items in that same period of time. So that means that if you take 4,286 and you divide it by 62, or you come up with that total $69.13, that's your average sale for the week. So for every sale, the average was $69.13. So what would happen if you were able to increase that average sale figure from the $69.13 to $74.60? It's only an additional $5.47 per customer. So, it would take you, it would take your weekly income from $42.86 to actually $46.26. So it's a decent difference, I guess, it's a difference of $339 every week. So every week doesn't sound like a lot, right? But if, multiply it by 52. So there's 52 weeks in a year and you get an additional 17 grand at the end of the year. That you can't ignore. Employee selling strategies. So let's talk about some of the strategies you can use to increase your average transaction, the value. And by the way, when you have your team trained in a selling system, as we talked about earlier, Make sure it includes a routine for the use of the strategies here, since they can really add to the value of sales. And so let's take a look at how they work. Cross-selling. So cross-selling is when you sell other products or services from your range in addition to the customer's original choice. Another term used to describe it is suggestive selling. So you suggest additional items to complement the original item. And that goes back to my example, like McDonald's, they use a cross-sell point, every time you visit, they'll ask you about the fries, or would you like an apple pie, to go with that Big Mac. It's very much an important piece of their culture and their training, so that if if a team member fails to cross-sell 3 times within a shift, they do retraining. So to start you thinking about possible cross-selling opportunities within your business, so go back and look at your major product or service offerings and ask yourself, what else could we offer to go with this item that would add value and help the customer get the most out of the purchase? Once you get the answer to that, you can develop cross-selling checklists for each item that you have that'll guide team members in making suggestions to your customers. Upselling. Another strategy to increase your average sale is to upsell purchases from lower to higher priced items. A great way to do that is to offer your products or services in 3 or more tiers. Along the lines of good, better, and best, or you'll see bronze, silver, and gold. Your first tier might be your budget items, the ones for price-conscious buyers. Your second tier is the one you actually want the majority of your customers to buy. And your third tier items will appeal to those who are happy to spend a little more for more value. So train your team members to offer 3 options from your range of items, explaining the tiers. Statistics will show that most people will select the second tier item. And I've heard that many times before from marketing people that I've worked with. And that's how they actually set these things up is, the first one is, it's a little, on the low end. The other one is a little on the high end, and the middle one looks pretty good. So most people always automatically choose that middle choice. It's kind of odd. It's kind of interesting to watch, things play out in people's, how things come about in their thought processes, studying people and human behavior. It's pretty interesting. All right. So let's talk about bundling. So bundling items or services together in one single purchase, you can add value to the customer. So it's designed to make your products and services more attractive, create a higher perceived value for the customer, and increase your average transaction value. So let's use this example. An electronics retailer might offer 6 free blank videotapes with any purchase of a VCR. A VCR, do you still have one of those? Instead of discounting the price by 20%, a manufacturer might offer free installation. So a health professional might bundle together a free assessment if you sign up for a certain minimum number of sessions. So like if you were going to a massage therapist, you buy 4, you get the 5th free, something like that. So go ahead and take a look at your full range of products and services and see if there's any opportunities to package things in your business in this type of way. Smart merchandising. Signage, ticketing, presentation, and packaging, traffic flow, and point of sale displays are all different types of merchandising that you can use to increase your average sale. Having educational information about your products or services, sales tools like testimonials or brochures, these can all help build your customers' confidence in your business and increase the average sale. So surprisingly, even your on hold messages can spark a customer's interest and result in, the experience of the average sale. It's really kind of interesting. I know a lot of places do that now. So like if you go to the dealership or if you call the dealership and you're placed on hold, and they'll tell you about all these different services that they offer, like, maybe their detailing special, or a 60,000 mile, checkup, or whatever, service is 10%, something like that. You can learn a lot, and it might get their attention, and they'll inquire more about it. So, yeah, so there you go. So smart merchandising. I'll go back to this merchandising. The only way that I really understood before, I learned all this stuff about, growing your business was merchandising. And my former husband used to work for Pepsi, and he was a merchandiser. This was like years and years ago. And so he would go out to all the grocery stores, or whichever stores it was that he was assigned to, and they would put up, signs, like football days, where they have games, maybe the Super Bowl, and they put up those giant displays, and they build them out of, Pepsi products and stuff like that. Then you have to go down the aisle and pull the oldest product up front, and then place, new product in the back. So you're constantly, moving the inventory so that it doesn't get outdated. Those were things that he would do. So that's kind of what I think about when I think about merchandising. So work your margins and pricing. This is fun. So to increase your average sales, you must have a firm understanding of your margins and how they affect your bottom line. Avoiding discounting and price wars is important to maintain and increase your average sale value. So here's a couple of examples for you. So if your present margin is 35% and you reduce your prices by 10%, to produce that same profit as before the discount, your sales volume has to increase by 40%. So that's not going to make more profit. It's just getting you back to, where you were. And it's not very likely that a 10% discount is going to spur any extra 40% in sales. You know what I mean? So on the other hand, if your present margin is 35% and you increase your prices by 10%, your sales can reduce by up to 22% to maintain the same profit. How fascinating is that? So, that probably won't happen either. But statistics will show that only 15% of the market actually purchase on the basis of price alone. So, that's kind of, why it's not really going to happen. So 15% of a market that'll actually purchase on the basis of price alone. So that's not a very big percentage, it's pretty low actually. So if you can differentiate yourself in the market, showing why your products or services are worth more, your sales could actually increase even with a price increase. So what you offer is is like suddenly seems more valuable. So, increasing rather than decreasing your prices could be worth, further investigation for your business. I've heard that quite a few times here in recent years. Some of my coaches have told me, bump the price up, because, when you bump the price up, it just has some sort of I can't remember what they said. It was like some sort of an effect on the thought processes of the prospective buyer. And so if you price yourself low, people automatically assume that they're buying garbage, and they're not really engaged or invested in the purchase. But if your price is higher, then they've got a little bit more, skin in the game, so to speak. They're spending a little bit more money, so what they're purchasing, they're actually interested in. You know, they actually care about what it is that they're taking home. So that ends today's talk about the third way that you can grow your business. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the fourth way. So I will see you there.